Hello everyone, our today's outline is including computations and using data table library. So first let us understand including computations. So why we require data computation? So for example, if I am having columns and based on the value of that columns, I want to perform some of the computation. For example, if I am having a column which is named as age. So if I want to perform the sum of all the ages that are present in my table, so for that we require computation. So how we will calculate this computation? So for that we will use JavaScript. So based on this, JavaScript will compute the values that are present and it will show us the total. In programming, we will see how we can include computations and how we can perform computation. Next we are going to see is using data table libraries. So data table libraries can be done directly. There is a built-in library or open source library which is available, which is named as data libraries. So we can use directly in our data tables. So in programming we will see how we can work with data table libraries. So first let us understand tables with calculated columns. So first of all, let us create a table. So for that we have taken a body section. Inside this we have taken a table. We have given the ID of our table as sum underscore table. We have given the width of our table and we have specified the border of our table. Now we are semantically dividing this table into sections. So the first section I have taken is T head, that is table head. Inside this I am creating a row and I am giving three different headers, that is apple, orange and watermelon. Then I am closing this header section. Next I am going to specify is the table body and I am specifying the values for this different attributes, that is apple, orange and watermelon. So I am specifying the value as 1, 2, 3. Then I have taken another value. Again I am specifying 1, 2, 3. Third row I have taken, I am specifying the value as 1, 2, 3. So this is my body portion. And the third section I have taken is my table foot. Inside this, what I want to do, with the help of JavaScript, I want to calculate the total number of apples, total number of orange and total number of watermelons. So this you can see over here, just now it is showing you only the total. Now we want to dynamically calculate the values or the total number of apples, total number of oranges and total number of watermelon. So for that we are going to use is a JavaScript and we will dynamically display the number or the total based on the values that are provided for apple, orange and watermelon respectively. So now let us understand how we can calculate this particular total. So for that we have to write a JavaScript function. So first inside the head tag I am taking a script and I am specifying the jQuery library. So I am using jQuery.mean.js. Now I am taking a script and inside this I am loading this particular data whenever this HTML page is loaded in the browser. So for that I am using a ready function. Now we have declared here a function which is named as calculate column. So first let us understand what this ready function is doing and then we will see what this calculated column is doing. So inside this ready function we are going inside our table header. So here you can see that we are having three different table headers, that is apple, orange and watermelon. So for all these three different values we are passing their values. So table head and inside th. So for each th I am invoking a function from this ready function and I am passing I as an index and this I is referred over here as index, and from this function I am calling a function which is named as calculate column. Now what this calculate column is doing, so it is taking one by one index of our table head and it is performing the sum. So let me give you an example. So at first index, that is at 0th So at the first index, that is the 0th index, the value apple is stored. So first it will take the th as 0 and it will consider the column value as 0. So 0 will be passed as a parameter inside this function, that is calculate column. Now we are initializing a variable which is named as total as 0. Now for each values of apple, what we are doing, we want to calculate sum. So inside this apple we are considering each rows. So how can we access each row of apple? So for that we are using table space tr. That means each row of tr we are considering, that is dot each, and inside this we are calculating the sum of each values of apple. So now we require the values of apples. So how can we access that? So for that we are using td, as the values are stored inside this td. Now here this refers to the current cell in which the value is present at that particular index, and I am converting that particular value into integer, but we require the value. So to get the exact value we require a function which is named as text, and this text function will give us the value, and this entire value will be get converted into integer, and we are storing that value inside a variable which is named as value. Now this entire thing will continue until each and every values are accessible, and it will store the sum inside the value, that is total. Now what we want to do is we want to calculate the table. So we are using a function that is not a number, and not of is a number will give us a number. So if this particular variable is holding a number value only, then only we want to perform the sum. So for that we are checking the condition whether this variable is storing numbers or anything else. If it is storing only numbers, then we want to calculate total. Now we have calculated the total. Now what we want to do, we want to display that particular total inside our footer tag. So to access the footer we are using table foot and td. Now if you recall over here, we are having this particular data, that is total and column. Now here I want to display the dynamic value. So we have to reach t foot inside this tr, and we need to access this td. So let us see how we can access that. So for that we are using table footer td, and we are considering that particular index, that is using eq function. We are passing that index and we are writing a text over there, that is total plus total. Now this total variable will be storing your actual calculated value. So this entire function will get executed 3 times. Why 3 times? Because we are having 3 different table headers, that is apple, orange and watermelon. So first it will calculate the total for apple, then it will calculate the total for orange, and then it will calculate total for watermelon. So now let us run and see how it is showing. Simply right click, open in browser. So here you can see it has calculated the total for apple, that is 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3. For orange it is showing the value as 6, that is 2 plus 2 plus 2, and for watermelon it is showing the value 9. So how we have done? So first we have gone to this particular table header. Inside this we have accessed all these 3 table data, and we have calculated the sum, and we have written that particular sum over here. Then it will go to table header which is at index 1, which is having the value as orange. It will access all this table data, it will calculate the total, and at the end in tfoot we have written the value as 6. Similarly it will calculate for watermelon. Now next we are going to study is how we can use table data, or how we can use table using data table library. So first of all you need to download this data table libraries and stored inside your project where this file is residing. This file means this HTML file where it is present. Now why it is so? Because we are including the style sheet as well as the JavaScript for data table library inside this particular file. So let us understand. So first we are creating a simple table. So I have created a simple table and I want to display it in a format of data tables. So here I have specified some of the static table values using a table tag. So I have created a table, I have given the caption, I have specified the table header which is having three different values, that is region, cells and mean. Then I have taken the footer which is showing the sum, and the table body which is storing the different regions, their cells value and their mean values. So here I have taken the region is northeast, its cells value and the mean value. Similarly I have taken southeast, its cells and its mean value, midwest, mid-Atlantic, southwest, northwest and California respectively. Now what I want to do, I want to create a data table using data table library. So let us create it. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to provide the reference. So here I am linking my data table CSS file. So linking a CSS file of data tables, so you have to use link tag, link reference equal to style sheet, type equal to text/CSS, and I have specified this particular CSS library. Then I have included jQuery library. Then at the end you can see over here again I have included a script JavaScript file of data table library, that is datatables.mean.js. Now I am having a folder which is named as data table. Inside this I am having a folder which is named as media. Inside media I am having a folder which is named as JS, and inside this I am having a JS file which is named as jQuery.datatables.mean.js. Now how can we create a data table? So for that we have to take a script tag. We have to specify the type equal to text/JavaScript. Now I am creating a function. Now to display a data table we require data. So as we know that we have stored that data inside a table which is having ID, which is cells by region. So we need to access this. So we use dollar as it is ID, so we can access it with the help of hash, that is cells by region, and inside this I am using a function that is dot data table, and inside this only one thing you have to specify, that is be jQuery UI equal to true. Only this much you have to do. So what it will do, it will create a dynamic data tables using a data table library. So let us run and see how it looks. Right click and show open in browser. So this is your data table library. So by default it will show you 10 entries. It is providing a search functionality to you. So table remains the same, but it is showing you in a more expressive and lucid way. So by default it can show you 10 entries. You can show 25, 50 or 100 depending upon your data. It is also showing you that total how many entries are present by showing you one of the 7 entries. That means it is showing you all the entries. So this is your data table. Now for example, if I want to search whether any region which is named as California is present or not, so simply I can go in search and I can type California. It will show you the data that is related to California. So this is your data table library. Now why we require this data table library? So for example, if I am having a simple table data and I want to show the user in a more advanced or more formatting way the data at that particular time, we require data library. So in this session we have seen how can we calculate columns value directly, as well as we have seen the use of data table library. So this is all about your today's session. Thank you.